She has a big heart, big wings, and a big commitment to restoring the magic to communities. Welcome to the Ferry Godmother Radio Show.
One of the things that I wanted to do is, because I know there may be some folks out there who don't really know much about, what you've done, your past. So tell us a little bit about your personal history, work experience, that kind of thing.
Well, I probably have one of the most diverse work histories that anybody you could really talk to. I left high school and my first job was a dental assistant. So I worked at that for a couple of years and then I got married and became a mom, and then I worked at raising four sons.
Right, that's a job.
But in the process of that, my husband didn't want me to work at the time. So then I started figuring out things to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the process, I've done such things as for 5 years, I sold Barbie doll clothes. I designed and made Barbie doll clothes.
Okay.
I did upholstery work. I did all kinds of, things like that. And eventually, I hit upon cake decorating. I taught myself to decorate cakes and then started a bakery. And then for 12 years, I did designer wedding cakes.
Wow. I don't think people knew that about you. I've actually never heard that.
I taught decorating classes, and this was in Baker City, Oregon, so nobody knows that background.
Okay.
But it's part of what I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of that, I needed a bigger house because I was doing it out of my own kitchen, so I decided to build myself a house. And so I bought a piece of property and decided to be my own general contractor. Designed this house and built a house with 2 kitchens in it, so I could have my bakery, a licensed kitchen in the house, and that led me into doing more construction. So then I started up Kennedy Construction and started doing that.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
There's a whole lot of things going there. And then, life really took a big turn. Marriage ended, and I decided to go to college at age 37. So then I became a student, and went to college, got myself a degree in computer science and business administration, and after I graduated, I was hired by a small company that was an offshoot of Hewlett-Packard. Mm-hmm. Eventually, the people who started that, Colorado Memory Systems, were previous employees of Hewlett-Packard, and about 5 years after, or 3, it was about 5 years into that, Hewlett-Packard bought the company, and I became a
bigwig.
A bigwig.
Woohoo!
The next thing you know, I started moving around in Hewlett-Packard. Eventually, became a worldwide operations manager for them in the IT organization. You have to be careful because Hewlett-Packard had 6 business divisions, so it's in one of those business divisions.
Right.
And then I went to work for Albertsons in their IT organization in Boise, Idaho. That led me to Boise, Idaho. And then in 2006, a huge jump again. My life has been one big jump after another. I tend to take calculated risks, mm-hmm. and I want to make change in the world. So I moved to Boise to help a company turn around in their IT organization as a business process engineer in the IT organization.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2006, as I said, I actually came to the City of Newburgh.
So how did you get to, I was going to say, from Boise, Idaho? It's a little bit of a stretch, but how did you get from there to here?
Well, that's a story all by itself, and I'll try to make it brief.
Okay, what it does.
I came, at that point, 2006, I really headed about up to here with corporate America and mergers.
Mm-hmm.
And this company was in the middle of yet another merger that I had to go through, and I said, I really am tired of this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So let me take myself on a 1-week silent retreat and see if I can figure out what I want to do with my life. And bottom line is, I came to here because my son lived in Brooklyn, and he says, "Mom, I got this house up in Fleshman's, New York. Do you know where that is?"
Yes, actually I do, in the Catskills.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed in that house for a week, and I'm just going to say that I really did do a silent retreat. I turned everything off. I hiked, I meditated, I journaled, and I really just kind of turned it over to God at that point and said, I give up, I let go, I'll do whatever you want me to do, and bottom line is here, I had a real experience up there. And when I came down from the Catskills, my son says, "Mom, I want you to stop in this little place called Newburgh, New York, and see this old house I bought. This is where I ran a construction company back when, meets Newburgh." Because I go into this old house he's bought, and it really did. It was a beautiful old house with good bones, but a disaster. Just a disaster.
Which is one of the issues that actually is in the city of Newburgh, is that just the economy hasn't allowed for people to really keep up a lot of these houses. You know? So like you said, great bones, but unfortunately just the money isn't here to keep it up at its pristine condition. You know, so
I ended up, what happened was, my son had bought this house. He thought he was going to move up here from Brooklyn and commute, and then we decided that probably wasn't very practical. Well, Mom, why don't you come and watch and manage the renovation of this, and we'll just flip it, and you can go back and do whatever you're doing.
Right.
Well,
so that's how you got here.
9 years later, here I am still. I live in that house. It's my house now.
Okay.
And
is your son still in Brooklyn?
And my son's not in Brooklyn. As soon as I got here, he left to Idaho.
Oh, you guys are historical. All right. So what I want to do is I want to take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more with the current mayor of the City of Newburgh, Judy Kennedy, and we're going to find out more about some of the wonderful things that she's actually done in the current term that she's in. All right, so we'll be right back.
Thank you for joining us. We can't wait to see you next time right here on the Ferry Godmother Radio Show, where we are restoring the magic to life and play.